Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're going to be diving into the world of almost expert English speakers.
Right.
You know those people who are
Yeah, the C1
C1 level? Yeah, exactly. So they're basically fluent. They can watch movies,
Yeah.
read books, understand complicated stuff.
Yeah.
But we had this really interesting opportunity to get some insights from a whole bunch of them, like 100 C1 English learners.
That's a lot of data.
Yeah. And they share their experiences, what's still hard for them.
Right, because you would think at
Yeah.
that level you've got it down.
Right. They've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
But turns out there are some things that even these super advanced learners still find tricky. And some of them are kind of surprising.
Definitely.
So to really understand this, we've got an expert with us today. So before we jump into the nitty-gritty,
Sure.
could you just quickly remind everyone what C1 actually means?
Yeah,
what can these people actually do?
Okay, so C1, it's that sweet spot right before you hit native fluency.
Okay.
So you can understand complex texts, like you said, you can express yourself fluently, participate in discussions, and, use the language effectively in different situations.
So pretty much pro?
Yeah, pretty much. You can work, study. You can, live your life.
Travel.
Yeah, travel the world.
Without too much trouble.
Okay, cool. So now let's get to the good stuff.
Yes, let's do it.
What are some of the things that these C1 learners said they're still struggling with?
Okay, so one thing that came up a lot was phrasal verbs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're a nightmare.
I can imagine.
Even for advanced learners.
They're
Because
so weird.
they are so weird, and there are so many of them,
And they don't...
and they make no sense.
They don't make sense. Take give up, for example.
Yeah.
Give means one thing up, means another.
Right.
Together it means to quit.
Yeah.
Or look forward to.
Put up with.
Put up. Yeah, what does that even mean if you just look at the words?
Right, exactly. And how were you supposed to know that look forward to means to be excited about something?
I know.
It's crazy.
It's a whole other language within the language.
So even at C1, they're still
tripping up on these phrasal verbs.
Okay, so phrasal verbs are a big one.
Big one.
What else?
Okay, this one's kind of interesting.
Okay.
A lot of them talked about feeling like imposters.
Really?
Yeah, even though they're so good at English.
They don't feel confident.
Yeah, they have moments of self-doubt, especially when they're talking to native speakers.
Oh, I bet. Especially in fast conversations.
Exactly. In a really casual setting.
Yeah.
Where slang is being thrown around and they're like, wait, what?
Right. All of a sudden they don't.
Yeah, they feel like they're back at square one.
That's so interesting because I think a lot of people can probably relate to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you're not learning a new language, imposter syndrome is a real thing.
It is.
So what did these learners do? How do they deal with this feeling?
Well, a lot of them said they just had to keep pushing themselves.
Out of their comfort zone.
Exactly. They would force themselves to go to English conversation groups.
Oh.
Or they would watch movies without subtitles,
Yeah.
even if they didn't understand everything.
Why?
Or they would just talk to strangers.
That's brave.
It is. It's they had to embrace the awkwardness
Yeah.
and just keep practicing.
So basically, even at C1,
Yeah.
it's still all about practice.
Absolutely. Practice and exposure.
Okay, so people talked about the struggles.
Mhm.
But what about the wins?
Oh, the wins?
Did they share any, aha moments?
Sure, they did.
Those moments where something just clicked.
Yeah, a light bulb moment.
Okay, tell me about those.
So one thing that kept coming up was realizing that mistakes are good.
Making mistakes is good.
Yeah, it's not something to be afraid of.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. You learn from your mistakes.
Exactly. They started to see mistakes as opportunities
Okay.
to learn and grow.
So instead of getting, discouraged,
Mhm.
they would analyze their mistakes.
Yeah, and ask for feedback
Oh, okay. Interesting.
from native speakers and stuff like that.
So they're actually using their mistakes to,
Yeah,
get even better.
to level up their English.
That's actually really cool.
It is a really powerful mindset shift.
And I bet that's something that, anyone, no matter what level they're at, can learn from.
Absolutely, because we all make mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's part of the process.
Okay, so mistakes are good. What else? What other,
Yeah.
aha moments did they have?
Well, this one might seem obvious,
Right.
but it's persistence.
Not giving up.
Exactly. These learners, they didn't get to C1 overnight.
Yeah.
It took consistent effort and dedication.
Yeah, I mean, it's anything you want to get good at, you got to put in the time.
Exactly. They kept showing up.
Yeah.
Even when it was tough.
So it's a good reminder that becoming fluent
Yeah.
in another language, it's a journey.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
It's about the long game.
So I guess like the takeaway here is
Yeah.
even when you reach a really high level like C1,
Yeah.
the learning doesn't stop.
Never stops.
That's actually really inspiring.
And it is like, it's a lifelong journey.
So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
what would you say is like the biggest takeaway
Oh, the biggest takeaway.
for our listeners, especially those who are like
Yeah.
dreaming of reaching that C1 level themselves?
Well, I would say remember that everyone's journey is different
Okay.
and that even the most advanced learners are still learning.
Mhm.
So embrace the challenges, celebrate the wins, and most importantly, never lose sight of the joy of learning.
I love that. Never lose sight of the joy of learning.
Yeah, because that's what keeps you going
That's so true.
when things get tough.
So for everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
what's the one thing in English that you find like the most challenging?
Mm-hmm.
And what can you take away from these C1 learners
Right.
to help you overcome that challenge?
Good question.
Keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep that language journey going.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
It was fun.
See you next time.